Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the Indian Penal Code, or IPC, which is the backbone of criminal law in India. Specifically, we're going to look at a really important difference: murder versus what's called culpable homicide, which is kind of like manslaughter in other legal systems. It's super important to get this right, because it affects how the law is used and how justice is served. Both terms mean that someone has died, but the punishment can be very different. This depends on various factors, like whether the act was intentional or if the person knew their actions could result in death. For instance, murder is usually premeditated, meaning it was planned in advance. On the other hand, culpable homicide might happen in the heat of the moment, without prior intent to kill. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for legal professionals, law students, and even the general public. It helps ensure that justice is appropriately served and that the legal system functions effectively. So what exactly is culpable homicide? It's a term that often comes up in legal discussions, but what does it really mean? Section 299 of the IPC explains it in detail. This section is crucial for understanding the legal framework around this term. Basically, it means causing death when you meant to cause death, or at least intended to cause such harm that death was a likely outcome. It could also mean you hurt someone so badly that they were likely to die from their injuries, even if death wasn't your primary intention. Or, it could mean you knew what you were doing was so dangerous that it could kill someone, but you did it anyway. Important note, you don't have to want to kill a person. It's about the recklessness or negligence involved in your actions. For example, imagine throwing something heavy off a roof into a busy street. That shows you don't care if someone dies, even if you aren't trying to kill anyone specifically. The act itself is reckless. This kind of behavior demonstrates a blatant disregard for human life, which is a key element in culpable homicide. Knowing that what you're doing could kill someone, that's a big part of culpable homicide. It's not just about the act, but the mindset behind it. So in summary, culpable homicide is about causing death through actions that are either intended to kill or are so reckless that death is a likely outcome. Here's the tricky part. All murders are a type of culpable homicide, but not all culpable homicides are murder. Section 300 of the IPC defines murder. It's culpable homicide some other things, like killing someone on purpose, or hurting them so badly that they'll probably die, or doing something so dangerous that it's almost certain to kill someone. So murder needs more proof that you meant to do it, or knew it would happen than culpable homicide. Sometimes, even if you kill someone on purpose, it might not be considered murder under the law. Section 300 of the Indian Penal Code, or IPC, outlines 5 specific scenarios where culpable homicide does not amount to murder. For instance, if you kill someone in the heat of the moment after being seriously provoked, it might be seen as an exception. Another example is self-defense, where the law recognizes the right to protect oneself. Additionally, when someone in authority, like a police officer, is performing their duty or during a sudden fight without any premeditation or planning, the law may also consider it differently. Lastly, if the person who died had given their consent to the act, it might not be classified as murder. These exceptions illustrate that the law takes into account the specific details and circumstances of what happened, rather than just the act itself. Ever heard of the Nanavati case? It's a famous one. Nanavati, a Navy officer, shot his wife's boyfriend. The big question, was it planned murder, or did it happen in the heat of the moment? The court said it was culpable homicide, murder, because it wasn't planned and happened in a moment of anger. This case shows how the specifics of a situation are really important. Knowing the difference between murder and culpable homicide in India is super important for making sure things are fair. Things like intention, knowledge, and what exactly happened all matter in figuring out how serious the crime is. Cases like the Nanavati case help us see how these differences work in real life.